Tons of steel, hundreds of meters above water, and zero room for error. Bridge construction is like playing chess with gravity, and the winner is whoever plans every move down to the millimeter. Ready to see how it's done? If I were to claim that the world's tallest bridge, Huajiang, was built by gods, I wouldn't be exaggerating much. It stands an incredible 625 meters, as high as 2 Eiffel Towers stacked on top of each other. Its main cable stretches 2,378 meters and is wrapped in 11 protective layers to protect against humidity, corrosion, and even fire. Using satellite navigation, workers positioned 93 truss segments with precision down to the centimeter in just 73 days. For a 1,420-meter span, that's Sonic the Hedgehog speed. Thanks to this bridge, a 3-hour trip for the locals was cut down to just 3 minutes. In the English city of Gateshead, you're more likely to get a wink from the Millennium Bridge than from the local ladies. When it needs to let a ship pass, its upper arch tilts downward while the pedestrian section lifts around its supports at a 40-degree angle, creating the illusion of a blinking eye. The effect has been so iconic that the British even put the bridge on a £1 coin. To celebrate its centennial, Turkey went big and built the world's longest bridge with a span of 2,023 meters. Its 318-meter steel pylons were set on concrete caissons sunk underwater. The total length of its cables could wrap around Earth 4 times. Despite that, the bridge was completed 18 months ahead of schedule, a testament to the secret power of Turkish kebabs. Remember that moving staircase from Harry Potter? Well, the Lil Langbro Bridge works in a similar way. When a large vessel approaches, its central sections rotate 90 degrees to make way, a process that takes about 150 seconds. Each of the bridge's 4 sections of the 160-meter span was delivered by water from the Netherlands and lifted into place by a not-so-graceful but very reliable crane. At 7 meters wide, it has 2 bike lanes, a huge pedestrian area, and 0 space for cars. Too elegant for them, obviously. Let me surprise you with an elevator, or rather, a bridge that works like one. Its lift span hangs from 4 77-meter pylons, with a hidden counterweight system inside. When a cruise ship approaches, electric motors kick in, raising the bridge roughly the height of a 17-story building. Its lightning acts as a natural indicator. Blue means high tide, green means low. Honestly, it's smarter than half the people I know. The Urquay Viaduct deserves an award for perfectionism. Its 2 tubular steel arches, each 120 tons, were installed with millimeter-level precision, as if by a surgeon under sedation. The pipes were then filled with self-compacting concrete. A 4-section steel deck was carefully suspended from hangers, covered with steel plates, and secured with concrete, resulting in something like a cream puff pastry. Only this one won't fall apart if you run over it with a car. Think a bridge design can't be based on a bug? Well, designer Thomas Heatherwick proved otherwise. This geometric sculpture unfolds into a 12-meter bridge, thanks to a system of hydraulic cylinders. The deck itself is laid with wood, giving it warmth and a soft footing for pedestrians. And of course, China has come up with an even cheaper version. Its 9 segments and 36 triangular panels were 3D printed in just 3 days. The whole thing unfolds via Bluetooth in under a minute. Measuring 9.34 meters by 1.5 meters by 1.1 meters, it can support up to 20 people at once. But when the 21st person steps on, an alarm goes off. Apparently, it's not a fan of crowds. If you've ever wondered how railway viaducts like Chongqing Wanzhou are built, then come closer. This stretch cuts through rugged mountainous terrain, so instead of ordinary cranes, engineers use the girder erection machine, a massive mobile crane that lifts a 700-ton beam and, like a hard-working ant, slides it across piers to install the next segment. Let's move over to India, where an entire family of cranes handles the job. First, the father, a multi-wheeled straddle carrier, lifts the freshly cast segment and gently places it near the mother, the bridge gantry, to avoid annoying her. The mother hooks the beam, loads it onto her youngest son, the girder transporter, and sends him to the eldest, the launching gantry, who proudly handles the installation. The Korean girder erection machine varies in length depending on the beam, but averages 100 meters. Weighing 550 tons itself, it can lift another 1,000 tons like it's nothing. The French Army realized that we're living in the age of technology, so they built a motorized pontoon bridge made up of 10-meter modules, each with its own engine. No tugboats needed, just a skilled operator at the controls. When assembled, the bridge is ready in 30 minutes, or just 15 if the current's gentle. Quick, efficient, and exactly what you'd expect from the Army. For 9 years, the Dugay Bridge in Beipangjang held the title of the world's tallest bridge. It was the first in history to have its road deck soar over 500 meters above the ground. Its core structure consists of a massive steel truss. Engineers lifted it into place in 12-meter sections to speed up the process. All 15,000 tons of steel are supported by H-shaped towers, built section by section using reusable molds and filled with concrete. Gazing upon these massive dimensions, one thing becomes clear: human capabilities are limited only by imagination. English seagulls are so cool that a bridge was named after their wings. The Gull Wing Bridge features a unique retractable design with a deck that slides back and locks securely in place. It's powered by some of the strongest hydraulic cylinders in the world, lifting this 345-meter giant in 116 seconds and lowering it in 106 because, client requirements. The concept was dreamed up in 1918, but it took a full century of maybe tomorrow to finally make it happen. Zero judgment here. Want to test out your knee stability? Try walking across the glass floor of London's Tower Bridge, suspended 11 meters above the Thames. Engineers claim the multi-layered panels can hold 3 dancing elephants, but I guarantee your knees will still be trembling. If Tower Bridge is beginner level, then the Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge is the final boss. At 300 meters high, even your insides would start to quiver. Its 15-millimeter panels are made of 3 layers of tempered glass, so not even a sledgehammer would be able to break through all of them. For those who are brave enough, there's bungee jumping from the center, which will cost you $215, and a guaranteed change of underwear. Compared to that see-through monster, the Michael B. Coleman Sky Bridge looks much safer, but no less impressive. It's supported by a single steel pipe, 1.3 meters in diameter. Its installation was an engineering miracle, completed with 2 500-ton cranes. The precision of a jeweler. Not every great bridge needs to be complicated. Take this one over China's Yellow River. It's basically a giant puzzle made of boats and steel plates, forming a surprisingly sturdy floating crossing. Both pedestrians and vehicles can traverse it without a second thought. There's not even a single entry in its complaint log, I swear. China's military uses a high-speed version of this bridge. Each segment is delivered by truck and dropped into the water when needed. Then comes some perfectly timed choreography. One team unfolds the sections on the water, another connects them with cables, and a third pushes the remaining pieces into place with motorboats. Once everything's locked down, the bridge is ready for vehicles. If the Irish had an unlimited budget, they'd probably build a bridge every day. Seriously, it took them just 15 hours, including a lunch break, to complete the 100-meter Strabane Bridge. The 4-meter tilted tower was installed before noon, and the rest of the day was spent assembling spans and securing them with steel cables. Even if you tried, you couldn't find a single flaw in this bridge. It turned out perfect. To build the new New York Bridge, engineers had to reclaim space from the Hudson River using floating cofferdams, which are essentially enormous bathtubs where concrete foundations and steel supports were built. The 128-meter towers were raised with self-climbing formwork, and for the 645-ton bridge sections, they called in a New York legend, the giant floating crane called I Lift New York. There's plenty of technical talk behind it all, but forget the jargon. Just look at the results. When Danish architects were asked to add a plot twist to a bridge, they took that quite literally. Although it looks twisted like a belt, the twist is made entirely of straight lines. Covering 1,000 square meters, it serves as a bridge, a gallery, and a sculpture all at once. A rare case when having multiple personalities is a good thing. Besides anime-style titans, Japan also makes mechanical ones. One of them, the Kaisho, is currently hauling a 3,460-ton bridge section, a light snack for such a beast. Standing 137 meters tall, the crane's boom is fixed on stationary supports and can't rotate, so the Kaisho needs a small tugboat to pull it around like a well-behaved St. Bernard. Meanwhile, in Japan, engineers have created the world's first instant bridge. In the event of a major natural disaster, this 17-meter structure can be deployed in just 10 minutes. It's strong enough to handle fire trucks, military vehicles, or, as the Japanese modestly say, 3 passenger cars. Transporting it is as easy as hauling a bike. Just hook it up and go. That's why the road was washed out is no longer a valid excuse for being late to work. The floating bridge in Jessore, Bangladesh is a story of how community spirit can triumph over bureaucracy. Tired of rowing to the market in the 21st century, locals decided to take matters into their own hands. They gathered 839 plastic barrels and 800 feet of steel angle bars, and a local craftsman handled the assembly. The 1,000-foot bridge became much more than a crossing. It's now a tourist attraction and a symbol of what teamwork can build. Definitely worthy of a like. This floating half-pyramid could also count as a bridge between people and art. Created by artist Christo, the London Mastaba stands 20 by 40 by 30 meters and consists of over 7,500 specially painted barrels stacked on a floating platform. Sure, it's no Egyptian pyramid, but it's still a jaw-dropper. These steel giants served the public faithfully for nearly a century. So, a little farewell salute was the least the professionals could do, along with a performer in a Labubu costume. On January 25, 2019, a giant named SPMT arrived at London's East Bank with a special Christmas gift, a 66-meter bridge. The 350-ton structure was pre-assembled and bolted together on land. To keep it balanced during transport, engineers added a 450-ton counterweight. They had just 12 hours to complete the operation. Whether it was Christmas magic or pure skill, they pulled it off right on time and even managed to celebrate afterward. Well deserved! The French army taught its vehicles to walk on water. Well, drive on a 100-meter floating bridge that unfolds in just 5 minutes. It's built into a 12-meter amphibious vehicle that can speed across land at 70 kilometers per hour and cruise through water at 12 kilometers per hour in slow but steady mode. This tech made soldiers' lives much easier. A Polish company called Optum figured out how to speed up bridge construction to near express delivery levels. Their secret lies in modular arches that are cast at the factory and then lifted into place by crane. The gaps are filled with soil or other material, and a road surface is laid on top. This method saves time, money, and patience. And as every engineer knows, patience is usually the first thing to run out. Now you get to take part in the installation of the Herring Lift Bridge. First, each 45-meter by 24-meter deck section is loaded onto a special multi-wheel transporter known as the Centipede, which carries it to a barge. Next comes a scenic boat trip along the River Yare, where the decks get a VIP view of the landscape. Finally, a crane hoists each section into place like a giant swing. After the final adjustments, the bridge opens beautifully. Cars above, ships below, and a 50-meter wide passage in between. Thanks for the help! To widen the road over the Karata Gorge in Algeria, engineers didn't reinvent the wheel. They simply built a half bridge, an elevated roadway that hugs the mountain like a balcony. It's made from 10-meter cantilever beams, with the rock face reinforced using shotcrete. Precast concrete slabs were quickly laid on top, creating a strong and elegant extension. Now, drivers can glide over the 50-meter drop without having to take a chill pill first. We could all use something like a launching gantry in our everyday lives. If it can lift a 130-ton concrete beam, it could probably get me out of bed too. This mechanical workhorse is especially valuable in hard-to-reach places, the kind no regular crane can get to, even with a pair of Red Bull wings. Take a look at the bridge being built in Gorge, a true engineering breakthrough. By experimenting with fiberglass, carbon fiber, and epoxy resin, engineers were able to create a unique composite material. To skip the science talk, it basically means the bridge won't corrode or erode, so it should survive at least 2 apocalypses. Let's talk about how unpredictable rivers force engineers to get creative. When building a railway bridge over the Oder River, specialists quickly realized that transporting a 130-meter arch on pontoons through shallow water was not ideal. Instead, they delivered 2,100 tons of steel to shore using an SPMT, then pulled the entire structure from pier to pier with chain jacks, like wet laundry on a clothesline. The installation went so smoothly that train traffic between Poland and Germany barely noticed the pause. To quickly install another railway bridge over the highway, the same SPMT, plus whoever invented it, came to the rescue. A 700-ton wooden frame was assembled near the site, then, with some very shaky hands, loaded onto the transporter for the first time. But it all went flawlessly. The 56.7 meter by 13.2 meter structure was installed with the precision of a tailor threading a needle. The Pingtang Bridge proudly holds the record for the tallest bridge tower on the planet. It stands roughly the height of a 110-story skyscraper at 332 meters tall. 2 additional towers loom nearby at 320 meters and 298 meters respectively. Because of the region's cold, humid climate, engineers used a special high-strength concrete designed to resist weathering, water, and freezing temps. Basically, the bridge version of wearing a hat, coat, and scarf. Add 2 spans of 550 meters and breathtaking mountain views, and you've got the perfect tourist attraction. If you can't build a bridge over a mountain, build one through it. That's exactly what the creators of the 152-kilometer Luji Anlong Highway did. This region is full of cliffs and rocky ridges that had isolated local communities for decades. So engineers carved their way through with controlled explosions, cutting a path for modern roads to finally reach them. How do you feel about these kinds of radical methods? Share your thoughts in the comments. Leave it to Amsterdam to do something completely different. Instead of building a bridge, they printed one. A 3D printed steel bridge, to be exact, right over a canal in the red light district. And that's a lot of epic for something just 12 meters long. Instead of a standard 3D printer, the company used robotic welding arms that melted steel wire and layered it in midair to form the structure. And yes, that wavy design was intentional, not because someone's hand slipped during printing. Add a new favorite to your list of cable-stayed bridges. Its central span consists of 103 panels with a total length of 1,104 meters, each one delivered and installed under satellite supervision. A high-speed freight lift called Gita helps with the vertical transport, and with pylons that can reach up to 300 meters, the help is definitely needed. All of this took place in freezing winds of 36 meters per second, but even that couldn't spoil the engineering masterpiece. It may not look like it, but building the Yellowstone River Bridge was a real-life mission impossible. The unpredictable river forced engineers to build a temporary finger bridge just to move their equipment. With narrow workspaces and limited access, every step had to be done with extreme precision. Still, the motivation of saving 20 minutes of driving time kept them going, and in the end, they built a perfect 392-meter bridge, rising 53 meters above the river. South Korea has more to offer than just BTS. Meet the stunning Noryang Bridge. What makes it unique? For starters, its 146.8-meter towers, the only ones that look good slouching at an 8-degree angle. The tilt actually gives them extra strength. Then there are the 3D streamlined cables, designed to take on even the fiercest winds with a Lady Gaga-level poker face. For locals, the Noryang Bridge is second in majesty only to the dude up in the sky. And that alone says a lot. For a year and a half, all of South Africa watched online as the Senkyu River Bridge rose near Mount Morusi. This 142-meter bridge was built from 2 main supports, 3 columns, and massive steel beams. The beams were first assembled on a temporary platform, then moved across the gorge with hydraulic jacks. After that came the concrete deck, the viewing platforms, maybe even a dance floor, who knows? All of it built to the soundtrack of a river whose water level jumped like a blood pressure monitor. Look at how beautiful it turned out! In April 2024, Ireland set a new speed record for bridge construction. The company Sisk installed a new bridge over the River Deal in just a few hours. An engineering speed run if there ever was one. It replaced an old railway bridge that had served freight trains for over 2 centuries. Soon, rails will return and trains will run again. So go ahead, congratulate the newcomer in the comments on its first day of work, or send your condolences. While others are busy building dams, the Polish are building remarkable bridges, like this one in Torun. It consists of 2 spans, each 270 meters long, with arches just under the height of Taylor Swift in heels, about 50 meters. The arches were transported down the river on barges like VIP guests and prepped for installation on a man-made island. The entire project took 3 years, used 18,000 tons of steel, 5,000 piles, and enough concrete to fill up a small lake. Now, if you translate all that into dollars, it comes out to roughly $200 million. Go ahead, drop your reaction in the comments. Chinese engineers be like, we've got 43 hours of free time, maybe we should build a new bridge. They probably would have finished even faster, but while removing the old one, which weighed 1,300 tons, they found serious damage that needed fixing first. The replacement deck, 55 meters long and 45 meters wide, was pre-built and slid into place with 2 giant mechanical pulleys. Then came the asphalt. The whole installation took 19 hours. That's shorter than most of my cat's naps. All of Montreal's above-ground metro sections rest on the shoulders of 2 powerful women, Anna and Maria. That's what they call their 580-ton gantry cranes, each capable of lifting the weight of 2 million miniature Statues of Liberty. These mechanical sisters are installed between supports to grab and connect reinforced concrete segments into place. For this particular viaduct, they finished the job in just 2 days. A regular crane would have taken at least 3 weeks. Giving a checkup to a bridge that's seen better days requires more than a stethoscope. You need the Mobile Bridge Inspection Unit. This electromechanical machine lowers maintenance crews 8 meters beneath the bridge on a folding platform, allowing them to examine every detail. It's especially handy for bridges suspended over water or deep ravines. Otherwise, the only way to reach them would be with wax wings. And that's definitely not covered by insurance. College students don't prepare for their exams nearly as thoroughly as the municipality of Barneveld prepared to replace its bridge. Instead of the planned 3 months of work, they finished it in just 3 weeks. Most of that time went into dismantling the old structure. Impressive, right? Container-based bridges prove that strong and affordable can go hand in hand, as long as you reinforce them with rebar and concrete, not just hope and should be fine. Sure, the inside looks like a zombie movie set, but think of it as an open-air escape room with better views. They say, if you ask nicely, a bridge might just build itself. That's not far from the truth with the rowboat platform bridges. During rush hour, these self-driving boats automatically link together to form temporary crossings, saving cities from traffic chaos. When they're not busy being bridges, they can even act as your Uber across the river, minus the chatty driver. It's hard to say what's more versatile, a Swiss Army knife or Chinese bamboo. This time, the bamboo is serving as a bridge building material that's about as strong as concrete. The secret lies in its flexibility. It can bend under the pressure of water without ever breaking. Reinforced with boulders for stability, it holds strong, even in fast currents. Ever wondered what it's like inside an anaconda? Well, engineers have created a more humane version of that experience. A tubular bridge. It's perfectly clean inside. No mice, no frogs, and not a hint of digestion. Instead, you get sleek lighting and waterproof walls. It's perfect for a romantic stroll with your better half. You know, the one that comes in a 6-pack. Nothing better. I told you they weren't reliable, say the critics, unaware that this bridge has been standing for over 15 years. And in case there's still any doubt, here's proof that it can easily support cars driving over it. For small provincial towns and parks, these portable bridges are the perfect solution. The 160-meter e-container bridge in Tel Aviv takes it even further. Reliable, practical, and stylish. Not to mention, environmentally friendly. Time to do this and turn old tires into a bridge. This kind of crossing can double as a training ground for your inner Tarzan. If you take it seriously and reinforce the whole thing with rebar and gravel, those used tires can easily hold up cars and motorcycles. The creative potential here is so high, it's honestly surprising the creators of The Simpsons haven't predicted it yet. Here's another idea. Use those old tires to make a breakwater. It took more than 2,000 of them to complete one of these. Any guesses where they managed to find that many? Wrong answers only in the comments. At first glance, it looks like a regular arch bridge, but it's actually one of Osaka's unique floodgates. When a warning signal goes off, the operator activates the arch, which lowers to form a 7-meter wall. The whole process takes about 30 minutes, and once it's in place, no matter what's raging beyond it, this arch acts like a nightclub bouncer. Nobody's getting through without proper wave control. The Meishan Reservoir Dam is perfect for containing potential floodwaters as well as your admiration. Built in just 2 years starting in 1954, this 88-meter giant features a multi-arch design that was chosen not just because it looks awesome, but because it's actually more effective. Unlike typical dams, this shape distributes water pressure more evenly, increasing its strength and reducing material use. So far, a limited budget has not been a problem. In the city of Changsha, there's a bridge that feels like it never ends. Inspired by the Mobius strip, it has 3 interwoven pedestrian paths and 8 entrances at different city levels. From above, it looks like a perfectly tied knot, which is fitting since in Chinese culture, knots symbolize luck. That's why it's called the Lucky Knot Bridge. This 3-kilometer installation, the Floating Piers, was another masterpiece by artist Christo. It required 70,000 square meters of saffron-colored fabric, 226,000 polyethylene cubes, and about $17 million to complete. Christo even sold most of his previous works to fund it, and then made entry completely free. I heard even Dorothy and her friends walked on that yellow brick road. The story of this bridge started more like an accident than a plan. A driver forgot to put the empty bus in park, and it rolled forward, gaining enough momentum to cross the river and get stuck between the banks. Fortunately, that was exactly where the locals had wanted a crossing anyway. This old airplane was also supposed to become a bridge, but an enterprising man in Myanmar saw a better opportunity and subsequently turned it into a restaurant. Gotta give him credit. Now people can finally enjoy first class at economy prices. Ever heard of the principle, water controls water? Well, some engineers took that literally and created the Aqua Dam. Think of it as a massive inflatable barrier made from polypropylene, which can be delivered to a construction site rolled up like a giant burrito. The tricky part is unrolling it. The thing weighs around 34 tons. Once in position, it's filled with water through 2 internal waterproof tubes, which give it both structure and durability. It's a clever, low-tech way to stop flooding by fighting water with water. Thanks for watching till the end. If I missed an amazing bridge you think deserves a spot here, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time!